G'day guys, welcome to another video on My Blue Heaven. It's votes time. The best and the worst, the good and the bad, the heaven and hell medals for 2025. These are the votes for our round 4 loss against Collingwood on Thursday evening. I do these votes with my son Spencer. He was actually at the game and he was pretty quick to put through his votes. I reckon he may have done them on the train. I'd already gone to bed, woke up in the morning, and there was his votes. I took a little bit more time to do mine. Very, very difficult this week. Both really trying to find 5 best players, but probably even harder to find 5 poor players because there were so many. And you could have chucked so many players into that bracket. So it is the best and the worst, the good and the bad, and the heaven and the hell medals, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which we do. It's going to be a pretty big week on the channel when I think about it, because I did go to the VFL game last night at Princes Park. Our VFL team played the Southport Sharks. They're one of the best teams in it. Standalone club, very strong, mature outfit, and they gave a bit of a touch-up. I'll put together a review of that game. Well, not so much a review of the game, more so a review of all the Carlton AFL listed players who played in that game, and there were a number of players who were on our list, and who's potentially putting their hand up for a spot come round 5 against the West Coast Eagles in gather round. The club are also holding an open training session at Princes Park tomorrow, and at this stage I'll head along to that and I'll put a small report out on that as well. And then Thursday I'll probably put together a preview. Well, I will put together a preview. It will come on Thursday. Our round 5 clash against West Coast Eagles at the Adelaide Oval. I think that game's on Saturday. It's an early game, isn't it? 1:20 or something. Anyway, I'm here to do the votes, and we'll start with the My Blue Heaven medal. So these are the best players adjudicated by myself and Spencer. I'll put up the votes now. We both went with George Hewitt. I think, just given his role he played, trying to negate the influence of one of the best players in the competition in Nick Dacos. He's a class act, Nick Dacos. There's no doubt about that. He was very quiet in the first half, lifted in the third quarter like all the Collingwood players did. I just thought George Hewitt battled away for 4 quarters and ended up having, I think, 29 touches and kicked the 2 goals. I think he was clearly our best player. I went with 2 key defenders with 4 and 3. These were really difficult to find. I just think Wiedering was solid. Started off quietly, but got into the game after quarter time. I felt the Collingwood bigs in their front half were pretty good. But I just think Wiedering and Silvani, I don't think they left a lot out on the ground. So I gave them 4 and 3 respectively. I know quite a few won't be too happy with putting Ollie Hollands in the votes. But 2 goals, provided a fair bit of run. I know he makes a lot of mistakes by foot, overruns the ball. He's not a great tackler, but I just think he battled away for the whole night and didn't stop running. And although he had his colours lowered, in fact, he had his colours lowered in round 1 against Richmond as well, against Toby Nankervis. And I thought Darcy Cameron was close to best on the ground. I've snuck in Tom De Koning for 1 vote. Spencer went with George Hewitt. He gave Ollie Hollands 4. Sam Walsh, I think, ended up with something like 10 or 11 tackles. I didn't use the ball well again, but Spencer's given him 3. He's given Tom De Koning 2. And I probably could have put Adam Sard into the votes as well, but Spencer gave him a vote. So let's look at the leaderboard for the My Blue Heaven medal. I'll pop it up now. There are now 11 players who are on that board. De Koning's still in front. He's now polled in all 4 games on 28 votes. Wiedering's polled in 3 games on 17 votes. Hewitt now goes up into equal second position. He's polled in 3 games, had a super consistent season so far, 17 votes. Cripps had a couple of really quiet weeks. He's on 12 votes from polled in 2 games. Silvani's been super consistent at both ends of the ground, particularly defensively. He's polled in 3 games on 11 votes. Cherra, couple of games on 10 votes. Kemp had that big game against the Western Bulldogs. He's on 9 votes. Hollands gets onto the leaderboard with 7 votes. Walsh polled in 2 games, but only got the 4 votes. Cottrell, who didn't play on the weekend because of an injury, he's polled in 1 game, 4 votes. And Adam Sard, 1 vote. Okay, let's go to the... I don't think this is the one that anyone wants to be, any player would want to be on. That is the My Blue Hell medal. These are for the worst players on the ground for us. And as mentioned before, you could have put 15 players into this bracket. So let's go. I'll start with my votes first. This is the second time I'll put Charlie Curnow at the top, which might seem a little bit harsh. Maybe he's struggling a little bit. Maybe that knee's playing up. But I watched him very closely and he's not the only one either, on Thursday night. And I know it's not necessarily a part of his game because he's got to work really, really hard in the air. But his body language, if he's not kicking goals, if he's not getting on the end of them, he does absolutely sweet fuck all when the ball hits the ground. If it's not in his vicinity, he just does not, I think, work hard enough for someone with his athletic, I suppose, qualities. He just refuses to tackle, doesn't chase with any vigour, doesn't put any defensive pressure on. I thought he had a really poor game, and it was taken to the cleaners really by Billy Frampton, who, let's face it, he's a solid key defender. And I know he probably didn't get the delivery. Probably, it wasn't down there in the third quarter, all that type of stuff. But I just think a bloke who's, clearly one of the best key forwards in the competition, just think it was another poor performance by Charlie Curnow. Mitch McGavin, I chucked in with the 4 votes. Just thought he was really poor again. I did not bother looking at the stats for some of these players. Found they were junk disposals, a lot of them. Could probably put him in that bracket of mature players who are at that pointy end of their career where they should be really leading from the front and playing consistent football. Just really smart, consistent football. They don't have to be superstars, but just too many mistakes, too many poor efforts. Fogarty, don't know if he's flying under the radar with his poor performances, but just not doing enough. I don't think he's even hit the scoreboard this year. And what he's known for is defensive acts. I think he's trying. He's just not getting in the right spots. So he slips some 3 votes. I'll put the skipper in there again. I think Spencer had him in for a vote last week against the Dogs. I'll put him in for 2 votes in this game. Thought he had a really poor night and was touched up by Harry Perryman. And Doherty won a lot of the ball in the end, but by God, it's just not up to the pace of the game at the moment. And I think, his body at the moment looks shot. So I gave him 1 vote. Spencer's gone Zach Williams with 5. Brody Kemp 4. After a blistering performance against the Dogs last week, he was hardly cited in this game. Welcome to the club, Ashton Moyer. What did he have? And he had heaps of game time too. Clearly clearly not ready for senior football. I think he had the 2 disposals. Lewis Young, he's given 2 votes, and Fogarty 1. So let's look at the leaderboard for the My Blue Hell medal. After 4 rounds, Curnow leads. He's polled in a couple of games on 15. Akers second, polled in a couple of games. Doherty third, McGovern fourth. Haynes, he's in 5th position. Ollie Hollins, 6th position. Lewis Young 7. Fogarty's now polled in 2 games on 7. Motlop, Zach Williams now polled in 2 games on 6. Harry on 5. Sard on 4 in 12th position. Brady Kemp in 13th. Cripps now polled in 2 games in 14th. Lockie Cowan in 15th. And as I mentioned before, Ashton Moyer, welcome to the club, in 16th position. Anyway, guys, take care. As I said, I will put a VFL review out tomorrow, and also I'll attend the open training session. See you soon.